Hi everybody, welcome. Happy St. Patty's Day. I'm wearing my green here, and they look like black, but they're green nail polish on my nails. So welcome guys. I'm sure you saw the title of the show today is Breaking Point. I'm going to be talking a little bit about as parents and families, whether we're a traditional family or single parents, or you have foster kids or adopted kids or whatever your family structure looks like. We all are going through quite a hard time right now with all the inflation, the rise in prices of everything. It's pretty insane. So we're going to be talking about that today. First, I was going to do this really big project on camera, but I'm going to start that next week because we have to, when you're working with wood, sometimes it's not as beaten up as you want it to be or as rustic as you want it to be. So we kind of have to beat up the piece that I'm going to be working on before I can work on it. But whoever tagged me, thank you, because I got a job out of it, and it's this big piece, and it's going to be really cool. So you guys will actually get to watch me make part of that. So that'll be neat. But tonight I'm working on a sign for a friend of mine. She's been waiting since Christmas for me to make this, so I'm making that. And it says kind heart, fierce mind, and brave spirit. So I'm trying not to focus too much on it because I was getting kind of perfectionist, but we'll move on from that. So I was watching a video today that explains inflation. It was Ben Shapiro. I love him. I don't know how you guys feel about Ben Shapiro, but he always makes me laugh. And he also is really, really bright. And so I was watching this video, and he had a really good way of explaining it. It was like 12 minutes long, but the basics of it is explaining inflation is basically, okay, so to try to make it as easy as possible, think about this. During the pandemic, there was money thrown after money after money. We got free money here. We got money here. Businesses were closed down. Lots of businesses lost their livelihoods. But people were getting stimulus checks and unemployment money, and all this money was coming in, but it wasn't going towards any products or any services. So you got all this money with a lot less services, a lot less products. So now, as we're coming out of that, that causes all these things to rise up. That's part of it, right? So now we have to find a way to account for all this money that we were given and make that work and even out. And also you have like the lack of stock. Basically, all these places were shut down. They weren't producing things. That's why it's easier to get a used car than it is a new car right now. All these things stopped producing, and now we have to find our way back up. Now, it's possible we'll bring ourselves out of it, but we're in quite a pickle. I was looking online today, and I saw there's a picture that's going to pop up in a minute of the gas prices, and this is a gas station right here in Portland. Well, not here, but in Portland, which is close to here. And I don't think I've ever seen it that high in my lifetime. I don't think so. And it's really hard to imagine that just a year ago we were at like $2 a gallon, you guys. And this isn't just because the war has something to do with it, but they were steadily rising from last year on. I mean, our gas prices have just gotten insane. And that's just one thing we got to worry about. Now we've got to think about the food. I know around here, food costs have gone like times 3. It's crazy. I mean, a budget of a couple $100 of every couple weeks used to be fine for groceries. Now you have to spend a couple $100 a week if you're lucky, and that's just a small family. I can't even imagine what people with 5 kids are going through right now. And then you got the price of gas, you got the price of food, you got the price of products. All this stuff is rising up, and yet the typical raise in a given year is only a few percent, but our inflation has gone up. I believe the last time I looked, it was almost 8% this year. So think about it. People are getting these raises. Well, and then if you're on a fixed income like Social Security or Medicare, they might give you a slight inflation raise or cost of living raise, but it's not even close to what is actually happening. So you've got people that are already on a fixed income or single parents, that have one income, and now you have to find a way to make your budget stretch even further. It's scary, and there's a lot of things that are causing that to happen. So I did write down a few notes so I wouldn't forget some of these points. Let's see what I got here. So an article that I read today said the February Consumer Price Index, which measures changes in the cost of food, housing, gasoline, utilities, and other goods, rose by 7.9% in the past 12 months. So almost 8%. The latest Bureau of Labor Statistics, or the BLS, shows gasoline alone, listen to this, guys, gasoline alone is up 38%, and energy prices are up 26% over the last year. Used vehicle prices are up 41% for the year, and new vehicle prices have increased 12%, but then also you can't find new vehicles right now because they weren't producing them. Food prices have also increased by 8% year over year, and that's a steady increase. Our food prices have just been climbing. So I wanted to talk to you guys today, not just to throw out all the negative stuff that's happening, but also talk about ways that we can fight this and work through it. One of those ways is a budget. Now, we work with a budget, my husband and I. He's the smart one, so he deals with all that, and I just follow the rules. I'm just kidding. But seriously, we work with a budget, and now even us, I'm so blessed. I have a husband who has an amazing job. I don't have to work, and we're okay. But we still, with him making great money, we still have to buckle down and follow that budget and change some things. One of the things that you can do is, if you don't have a budget, I strongly encourage you set one, because that will keep you accountable to what's going on. That'll actually you'll be able to see what's happening, where you're spending money, where you could cut costs. We every year look at our budget and we look at, okay, what did we spend money on that we could cut, and that's how we set our new budget. And it really helps. It makes a big difference than just guessing and trying to figure it out. I know for us, grocery prices here in our small town are really high. So we're kind of in a conundrum, because so you've got your market here that's really, really high, even higher than the other places. But then if you want to go shop somewhere else, you have to pay for gas to get there, right? Joel and I have found that if we order a lot of stuff online, we're actually getting a better deal, and we're not spending the gas money. So we get our household items sent to us online. We started doing, which is funny because a couple years ago, HelloFresh and those kinds of things would have been more expensive than getting groceries. But for us, because of our family, the way our family is, we can get 6 meals of HelloFresh a week, and I'm making a home-cooked meal every night, and then we eat out once a week, and that keeps us on a better budget than me trying to get all of those same items from the grocery store. It's because you only get what you need. It's a lot less waste that way too, which we have a really big problem with that, because there's only Joel, myself, and Riley, and when we're really, really busy, it's hard. It's hard to force yourself to cook at home, but this is one of those ways that we've found for us personally that forces us to cook at home, or forces me to cook at home. But there's other ways that you can go about it if you don't like those options. Those are just ways we deal with it. One of those things would be to take a look at which stores and where their prices are. There's lots of apps for most stores, and there's coupons on there. There's deals on there. You can get points from certain stores. So taking a look, and sometimes that really sucks, but if you have to plan out to go to a few stores, plan it out. And also make your trips worth it. So don't just go to town for one thing. Make all of it happen in one day, so you're not going back and forth and wasting that gas. So planning your trips, planning your where you're going to. Okay, I'm gonna get to the questions. Planning where you're gonna go. Somebody says, have an awesome show, Brandy. Thank you. Even used prices have skyrocketed. Yep, it's crazy. I know for us, we got our vehicles, what was that, October of 2020, and we have a lot of equity in our vehicles. I'll just put it that way. Somebody said I had to buy a used truck, and it was ridiculous. Not even like new. It was an 04 Tundra. Yeah, I mean, everything is so high. In housing, let's not get going on that. We both got, somebody said, we both got a 3% raise on medical retirement, but hell, we can't afford to drive the truck anymore. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. See, 3% raise, yet it's been a 7.9% increase of inflation. That doesn't even compute. That doesn't work. Someone said, I'm working a full-time job and side jobs to make sure I can pay everything. It just sucks, man, that's where we're at. We have raised 6 raised beds for veggies and break out the canner whenever we can. Plus, we are going to raise 6 meat chickens. That's a great idea. That's one really good idea. And a lot of people in our nonprofit, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip. Oh, by the way, this is not alcohol. This is a sparkling water. It's pineapple. One really good way to save money, if you have the option, is to garden. We've talked about maybe coming together with some people in our organization, our nonprofit, and having each person have different fruits and veggies in their garden so that we can all come together and help each other and the community if we need to, if something goes down. If you can raise animals, that's great. If you have people that you know and love that do that you can buy bulk, that always helps. Those kinds of things are great ways to save money too. Someone else said, we also buy beef and pork in bulk from U.S. Restaurant Supply, then we vacuum pack and freeze it. Great. That's a great way to do it too. If you don't have somebody that has animals that you can get straight from them, that's an awesome way to do it. Bulk is going to be really important in the next little while until we get through this. Just to keep up, you have to make an 8% raise. Exactly, just to keep up. Think about, they're like, oh, yay, we're giving you a raise, but it's in reality, you're actually, like the person that said they only got a 3% raise, you're not getting a raise at all. If you look at the numbers, it's just not working. Gnarly times, me being 65, I've never personally seen times like these. Yeah, it's scary. Now, I don't think that we're going to be stuck in this boat forever. I think that there's a lot of change happening, a lot of people getting involved in things like Joel and I never thought we'd be involved in politics, and we are now because we felt that we needed to stand up and do something, and I think a lot of people feel that way. I think here in Oregon specifically, we have the best chance of changing the tides that we've had in like 40 years. So if we keep coming together, we work together, we fight together to do the right thing and to try to change these things, I think we can come out of it, but we got to start being smart and stop following the identity politics, following the feel-good fuzzy stuff, and actually look at what's going to actually help us and save us and work for us instead of trying to be PC and trying to do what feels good. We need to actually look at what's right and what's going to help us survive. Somebody said, almost time for a Donner party. Oh, no. No. I just checked Craigslist for the exact same model and year of car I bought for just $350 with a clean title needing mechanical work. It's now $6,499. Just 4 years ago, the highest price was $4,000. Wow. That's a big jump, you guys. That's huge. Community purchasing is a good way to get in bulk. That's a great idea. Get together with people or the community and make a plan, and everybody go in on half a cow, or everybody go in on making a big grocery trip together and sorting it all out. I mean, that's a great way to save money. Group your trips and take less of them. Carpool, reduce extra weight you don't need in the vehicle. Keep up on maintenance. Get the best fuel usage and rotate your tires. Those are all great ways to save money when it comes to gas. Another thing that was brought up today in my research was if you work in a position, say during the pandemic, you were able to work from home virtually. There are a lot of bosses that are finding that it saves them money to keep their people working virtually. If you can keep that up and you do well with it and it doesn't change anything, it's a great way to save on gas money. I've got some more comments and I'd really like to work on this sign, but we do have a sponsor we need to talk to. So if you'd like to get signs that aren't like mine, but are actually really, really, really awesome. There's an amazing sign company in town. We talk about them every week. They're amazing. We love them. We're close to the people that run it. We know their character. They love this community, and they literally will get up in the middle of the night if they have to help somebody. So if you can support Whitney Signs, they are the best out there. And here's a video. We're back. So I want to finish this word before I forget it because I'm trying to memorize what I'm putting on here. But yeah, you guys, I'd love to hear what some of your cost saving ideas are and what you do to make ends meet. There are so many different kinds of families. I know we talk about saving the nuclear family a lot, but the nuclear family can mean a lot of things. What I wanted to touch on was that there are lots of different kinds of families that are struggling. Think about that family that has all the foster kids that they take on with special needs and work so hard to give these kids a good home. Imagine what they're dealing with right now. If you know anyone like that, be there for them, help them, do whatever you can to provide. Part of the reason we have our nonprofit is to do that, and to help our community and just be there for each other. And right now, I think during these times, these are the most important times to actually be a good neighbor, a good community member. Help them out. The mom that's by herself, that doesn't have a partner to help, and has to work 2-3 jobs to make ends meet. Help her out. Take the kids on a play date, do something. Maybe go shopping with her, help her budget, if she needs help. There's all kinds of people in our lives that are going through the same thing we are. And if we help each other out, it makes such a difference. Okay, so I got more comments here. Ooh. We also have 6 chickens for eggs. Problem is, they are molting and egg production stopped to 1 to 2 eggs a day. Oh no, I don't know much about that. Is that like a normal process every year? Or is that something like is caused by other things? That's a bummer. And I don't know either about the rules, like if you're in town or out of town, what you can and cannot have. But hopefully that solves itself soon. Good time to get in shape, walk or bike instead of drive. That's a great point, but there's also people like myself that can't do that. I have a little old man scooter, that I like to call it, that I used to use when we had one vehicle to get around town. And I'm not opposed to using that again because it's awesome. It gets me around. It helps me go from place to place. But yeah, if you're capable of walking and biking and doing that in town, it's a great way to save gas because I don't know if you know, but short trips to and from can actually cause a lot of loss in gas mileage. You're better off on the highway. You're better off on long trips. So if you have to take a really short trip and you're capable of walking or taking a bike, or in my case, a wheelchair or a scooter, go for it, especially with the weather changing and getting better. I personally love when I'm out there on my scooter because I can see a lot more of the community and people talk to me, and it's you get more ingrained in what's going on around you instead of just kind of being on autopilot. My generation went from sticks and stones to this generation says words have feelings. Oh well. Yeah. Now this is kind of a slippery slope. So I'm really big on anti-bullying, treating people the way that you deserve to, that you want to be treated, treating everyone with kindness, overcoming hate, obviously. I'm big on that. But I'm also big on realizing that at the end of the day, words are words and actions are actions. And your actions speak so much more than your words. And we have to find a balance between making sure that everybody's safe and happy and also doing what's right and getting through, and not letting the identity politics and the PC generation stop us from doing what we need to do to function and be successful. It's also a good time to get into couponing. Yes, I have a friend of mine who's really good at couponing, and she's tried before and failed, and I'm probably going to reach out to her again to see if she can help me. But if you know someone that knows how to coupon, or you know how to coupon yourself, it's a great time to do that. It's amazing what you can save when you know what you're doing. And there's lots of programs out there too, or apps out there too, that can save you money, that will give you actual points when you buy certain items. And if you're going to buy them anyways, you might as well get the points, right? Old man scooter, that's sexist. No, it's not. Come on. See? Words have feelings, right? Gosh, guys. There's no better time to knock on your neighbor's door and introduce yourself, see how they're doing, and if you can help them out. Exactly. Luckily, we live in a town where everybody knows everybody, but there's still people that you might not know what they're going through. We are a very prideful town, so sometimes it's just building that relationship. And as you build that relationship over time, you learn what those needs are, and you can help. And it's not about doing charity. It's not about, letting somebody do things for you. It's about working together as a community, you guys. And we are one big community. And I'll tell you what, we keep getting told we're part of the minority, and that's not true. The majority of people are good. The majority of people love one another. The majority of people want the same things. And we got to get past all this crap that they've put in our brains for years, especially the last 2 years while we've been stuck inside, listening to all this negativity, all this drama, all this hate, and just start loving each other and helping each other out. That's how we're going to get through this. Take a pogo stick. Yeah, you don't want to see me on a pogo stick, you guys. Just saying. You do not want to see that. That is not a pretty sight. I guarantee it. Also a good time to learn about farming. Yes, farming it is, but there's also a lot to that. There's a lot of expenses to that. There's a lot. So if it's not something that you're already involved in, yeah, do your research. Find out if it's for you. But don't feel disheartened if it's not something you can get into. Yep. Normal 2-3 times a year. And chickens are allowed in the city based off lot size. Roosters, however, are not allowed by city code. Okay, so that means they're molting 2 to 3 times a year. So that's like a phase they go through and will come out of. That's good to know. Someone said I need to start riding mine more actually for health reasons. Yeah, if you are getting into your 30s and your 40s, we're getting older, guys. Get that exercise if you can, if you're able, if you're capable. It'll help you in more ways than one. It'll save you money. It'll help you get better shape. All kinds of things can come from that. Someone's teasing me because I said PC generation. They said personal computer generation. Ha 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 ha. Does a unicycle get better mileage than a bicycle? I have no idea. I don't think mileage counts because you're not using gas, right? So, I don't know where we would go with that. Also, energy prices are up, right? So some really good ways to save money if you have a fireplace or a wood stove during the winter. Use that for heat. Wood is expensive, yes, but it's cheaper than the gas and electric prices are. So if you can do that, go for it. That's what we do in the winter. We use our wood stove and we heat the house, and it works really great. Lots of blankets. We get really warm, and sometimes it's too warm, okay? And also luckily in Oregon, we're a little bit easier for us. But when the spring and summer comes, the longer you can go without using your AC, the better. And if we don't have a central AC, we just have one of those fans that you put in that comes through the window and all that. But the more you can do without using your electricity, the more money you can save. Also, I know a lot of people are doing the solar panels, and they've got these really good deals where you just pay monthly. And one of our neighbors said her last energy bill was $8 for the month, which is incredible. But you also have to take into account she's paying monthly on the solar panels. So you got to make sure you're looking at both sides of things. How much are the solar panels going to cost you per month? How much does your energy usually cost? And how much are you going to save? Is it worth it for that change? There's also something called LIHEAP. It's called low income low-income home energy assistance program. Those guys can help you with your energy assistance and taking that cost down a little bit. There's all kinds of programs out there. Whoa, okay, guys. Okay, I'm going to read this, but this is not me saying this. Time to burn all those junk mail items and your husband's porno stash. Solar is a 10-year return. See, there you go. So you got to look at all the factors, not just one little part of it, okay? Something else I really wanted to talk about today was, so we've been dealing with inflation the past year, but one thing that's causing a drastic difference right now is the war in Ukraine. And I was going through pictures today, and it's just heartbreaking to see. And I know there's a lot of propaganda out there. We don't know what to think or feel. I personally don't think we have the funding to send money over or whatnot. And that's a whole other story. That's a whole other situation. But just thinking about the humanity aspect of it, we need to be praying for them. And there's a picture that's going to come up, and it's just heartbreaking. What these families are going through. And Joel had posted a picture too, and it looked like it was from World War II, but it was actually current picture. Just the color had been taken out of, and to see the comparison was really heartbreaking. This is a big humanity issue, guys, and we need to pray that it gets resolved. And I mean, this is where it's a scary time in our world. But there is a picture that I have, and it's I think it's a husband and wife, or a son and a mom embracing. Oh yeah, so it's a dad embracing his kid, and it's just you don't even have to know what's happening there to know what's happening there, if you know what I mean. It's just crushing to see. And they've bombed these children's hospitals and maternity wards, and it's just, war is supposed to be between soldiers. It's not supposed to be going after innocent civilians, and it's just killing me to see this happening, you guys. Somebody said, wish we had a useful fireplace. Also, while we're on the subject of fireplaces and help, and there are nonprofits out there that are there to help. We have quite a few in our town. We've got the food bank, the Yellow House has a lot of items, and from what I understand, they're pretty good. Like if you go in there and you can't afford things, they usually really try to help. The food bank is there. We've got all kinds of programs out there. We also have the nonprofit that I am the president of, Esticated Community Watch. A lot of people don't know this, but we kind of pick up where anybody leaves off. So we kind of do a little bit of everything. Right now we're in a fundraising season because at the end of a fiscal year, you have to fundraise again because, you run out of funds because you use it to serve the community the year before. But we're still here. We're still helping. We're raising funds, but we're also here. We've been known to help pay bills. We've been known to, we got a wheelchair to someone the other day, although it didn't work out for them. So if anybody needs a wheelchair, we've got one. But there's organizations like that in your community. So reach out to them if you need to. Volunteer with them so you can find out what the needs are of your community. But those organizations are there for you to help. I mean, our sole purpose is to be there and to serve and to help in any way we can. Another thing too is when you do splurge, it's a good opportunity to support your local businesses. One local business I really love to support is Hitching Post. Valerie, she's been on the Boys' show before, I believe, twice. And she is also really, really supportive of our nonprofit and other nonprofits. She gives back to the community all the time. She's been through a hell of a 2 years. And whenever you do decide to eat out, I'd suggest going out to the Hitching Post and checking it out, because no better way to spend your money when you're ready to spend it than to help someone else in your community to survive and to continue to serve. And here's a video of the Hitching Post. So, hold on, guys. Sorry. See, this is why I love to paint when I'm talking, but sometimes I get so focused on it, I can't do both. I can't. I already read that. Snickers per mile. LOL, that could get expensive. Oh, if you eat a Snickers per mile that you bike, it's a good incentive, but yeah, it could get expensive unless you're buying in bulk. Yeah. We have a wood burning stove, and maybe 2 to 3 times a year do we use the furnace. Soon, as they open the woods up for harvest, we're going to get another cord or two. Want to help me split it, Brandy? Sure. Actually, we have a few guys that we need to get together to help split some wood that somebody else has, that has been generous enough to offer to the community as well. So those are great ways to help save money too, or there's people out there that are willing to share, to give, and if you put a little work in, you can get something out of it together. You work together. It's just a beautiful thing, guys. And yes, I'd be happy to. Personally, I probably can't, but I can get some of my guys in the group to help if you need help splitting that wood. 30 trillion in debt. Yeah, we are a little overdrawn in the checking account. Yes, we are. Thanks to Mr. You know who. Here's a picture of this dummy. It's a perfect picture of him. I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me just hand you money and make you like me. But in reality, cause you more problems, which is what happens. Which is what everybody was saying. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people were saying, but nobody listened, just so you know. I mean, a lot of us were saying, we don't want the stimulus, we don't want this, we don't want extra money because we're going to have to pay for it later. We're paying for it later, guys. Solar returns depend on your monthly use. Also combined with the price for a battery backup for a night. Sure gets spendy quick. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you got to look at all the factors, because what works for some might not work for others. Like the HelloFresh thing that my family does. The reason that works for us is because we get it for 2 people, because Riley and I eat like that much, so we share a serving. But if you get into like 5 or 6 people, that gets to be like $60 a meal. And that's not necessarily feasible. So everybody's got different things that'll work for them. Not what works for me might not work for you. Our state economy is so broke, Dementia Biden keeps funding Russia or Ukraine. Yeah, I don't know how at this point. Right now we're just printing money, you guys. And the more that we keep throwing money out there that has nothing backing it, the more this inflation goes up. Because we somehow have to reconcile that, right? I mean, it's economics 101. Valerie from Hitchin Post is coming back on the 30th. So Valerie will be back on the Backwoods Brothers show soon, if you guys want to check that out. She's so much fun. She is just a ball of energy, man. She's the best. It's devaluing our currency. Exactly. I mean, think about it. You have a book. Say you have a person who prints books, and they print 100 books, and each book is worth $10, right? So they make that amount of money. So that's $10,000, right? $1,000, right? Yeah. Sorry, my brain's not working very well. So $1,000. They make $1,000 on these 100 books. Now the pandemic has shut them down. And Biden says, you know what? You can't sell books, you can't produce books, but I'll still give you the $1,000. Well, now when they open back up, they have to make up for that. So they have to charge more for the books that they would have charged $10 for. See? It's a little bit hard to explain, but that's kind of a simple version. I would love to hear, how about you guys send in some ideas to each other about saving some money? Another thing that we like to do, I don't know if anybody else likes to do this, but when we can, we haven't been doing this lately, but we like to, when we make our budget, we do a cash part that's for like our groceries, our gas, blow money, which is like money you can spend on random things, clothing, home items, things like that, and then we put them in separate envelopes. And each couple weeks, that's what we have to spend for that. So once you blow through your restaurant money or you blow through your grocery money, you have to wait till the next time you get paid. And so you have to really look at what you're doing. And now some people it doesn't work for. there have been times when we haven't watched it and we've just blown through the cash, and then we're like, what happened to our cash? But if you think you're disciplined enough, that's a really good way to save money. Rent your children out for labor. Just kidding, they don't work. Oh, geez. Oh, man. That was good. Well, you know, my mom, when I was a kid, so I'm an Army brat. I'm sure I've told you guys this before, but I am an Army brat. My dad was in the Army. Both my parents went to college later in life when I was a little kid. But before that, when my dad was working in the Army, we still had trouble making ends meet. Because, you know, the Army, I don't know if you know this, they make crap for money. So my mom used to take in ironing. She used to iron people's clothes, and they'd pay her to iron their clothes. Or take in, you know, sewing for people. Little things like that. I personally don't work. I don't have to. Thank you, Joel, because not only am I disabled, but I do a lot with the nonprofit, so that's a full-time job for me, and it doesn't pay, and that's okay. I'm good with it. But I do things like this that sometimes give me a little extra cash. By no means does it pay any of the bills, because A, I don't do it enough, because I don't push for it. B, I also don't have time to do it enough. And C, I don't charge enough. But it's still something that I enjoy. It's my artistic expression I'm going to do anyways. So if somebody reaches out to me and wants something made, like this big awesome sign I'm going to make, which I'm super excited about, I'm all for it. And that's a little bit of cash for me that I could use to do something fun for myself or pay a little bit of a bill if I need to. Everybody's got talents. Everybody's got something they can do. Maybe you could be a tutor for some kids, you know, especially in our area. I mean, there's a big joke about Estacada education, or Oregon education in general. Thank you, Brown. But, you know, if you were a teacher before and you've stopped teaching, you've retired, or, you know, you did something like that before, or you were like in a trade that you were really good at, tutor kids, tutor adults, help, you know, that kind of thing can make you some extra cash. There's all kinds of ways. Joel says I'm a brat. Okay. If the world oil market switches from using USD to RMB, it would completely break our economy. Now, what's RMB? Someone explain that to me. A lot of people say invest in precious metals. I say no to gold and silver and invest in brass. And please thank Joel and every vet. Yes, our vets are the reason we're here, you guys. So thank you to everyone who has served. Does RMB mean ride my bike? When I was a little kid, I remember working the farmer's fields, picking berries and veggies with my grandmother. Yeah, I mean, see, that's another thing. There's so many things. Like, I know when I was growing up, I started working at like 13 because I started babysitting. You know, of course, we only made like a couple bucks an hour at the time, but nowadays you could probably make a lot more than that. Chinese dollar. Okay, well, anything we do with China is a big problem, guys. We have something else I wanted to show you before we finish out the show tonight. And that is our Pissed Off Patriot gear. Now, if we're talking about inflation, we're talking about all these struggles that we're having because of what's been happening in our country and our world. And what better way to support a local business? What better way to show off your pride? What better way to say, we're not going to take it anymore and we're going to stand up than to say I'm a pissed off patriot? So check it out, guys. Welcome back, y'all. Okay, so I had this other picture that I wanted to show you guys, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, okay, bring back up that gas picture. Look at this. So this doesn't even show diesel. I know this is in Portland, but imagine, so now you have a 10-gallon tank. You're paying $62. Before, when you probably paid $20 and you were good. Think about how big of a difference that is, guys. It's just mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing. I can't get over it. And it's just, okay, so as I'm doing research through all this, and I'm looking at, like, things that have happened, prices that have increased, which is pretty much anything and everything you could think of, why this is happening, what small businesses are doing to come back, what families can do to survive this. And I was watching this video, and medical is more expensive too. Yes, it is. It's crazy. And you can thank Obamacare and Biden care for that. Anytime you give away something free, everybody else has to pay more. And that's just science. That's just math. Okay, that's how it works. Nothing is free, right? So if you give away something free, these guys over here that can afford it normally will have to pay double to make up for the free item, because nothing is free. And we've gotten to this point where we've been told that we can do this and it's not going to cost you a thing, or we're going to do this and it's always raises your taxes. It costs you money in the end. It always costs you money in the end. So really think about that. And don't be fooled, okay? Don't be fooled. Anyways, before I go down that rabbit hole, because I do want to talk about that, I was watching this video, and it was Ben Shapiro watching all the times that Harris has just messed up and just looked like a deer in headlights. And there was this one video when they were talking about, what are you going to do about inflation? And how do you feel about the country thinking that your administration has caused a huge increase in costs for everybody? And she just had this dumbfounded look on her face, and she couldn't even answer it. And she says, well, we're not the cause of it. This is from Trump's era, and this is from this and this and this. Yeah, that look, that deer in the headlights look. And her explanation was, well, this is what the cost of a pandemic is. Well, yes, that's true. A pandemic costs money in that way, but they're the ones who put us in that position, right? They're the ones who isolated us. They're the ones that shut the country down. They're the ones that caused so many mom and pop businesses and small businesses to lose their businesses. They're the ones that kept our kids out of school for so long. They're the ones that have kept us confined. So now is the time to say, we're not going to allow it anymore. We're going to stand up. We're going to fight back. We're going to work together. And the more we come together, regardless of your belief system, your political, put it all aside, dude. Like, I think we can all agree that most people are in agreement right now. Whether you want to admit it or not, most people are at the place where we want to work hard. We want to be able to pay our bills. We want to have a good life and forget the rest of it. And so come together, work together, be there for each other. And they can't do this anymore. Joel said, yeah, I've retired a few medical doctors myself. Medical bills are highly expensive. That is very true. And when you have an illness like mine, you will be paying medical bills the rest of your life. That's just part of our life. Unfortunately, that's just something we have to be okay with. I love how Biden says it's not going to cost anything to give away free stuff. It's all free if you're stupid. Exactly. During the growing season at harvest time, a lot of farmers are allowing gleaning after their fields are picked. You can glean a lot of produce and do home canning and freezing. I like that. That's a really good point, and that is true, which means you can go in after them and pick things that are there, and you can do a lot with that. Also, like I said before, if you can get a couple friends that you're all doing a garden, or we all come together in our town and create a community garden where this neighborhood is in charge of these certain vegetables and this group is in charge of these certain fruits, and we all come together and, we trade and barter, we could really do something amazing. Think about it. It's $95 for a full tank for me. We need alternative fuel options. Yes. The other day, Joel and I were filling up the truck, and I don't even think it was fully empty. But it cost us like $120. It's crazy. Someone drove off without paying for gas at Chapman's this week. Oh no. See, that's another problem that's coming with this, or things like that. People are trying to siphon gas. You know, theft is going up because people are desperate. And if we come together and help each other and find a way to support one another, I would hope that that would go down. But we also people need to have consequences for what they do. There's consequences for that behavior. And stop catching and releasing these people. They've done something wrong. They need to have a consequence, just like our kids. And I have a problem with this. I will admit it. I'm a softie, okay? But when there is no consequence for bad behavior, the bad behavior continues. Just like children, same with adults, same with criminals. Gas would still be $2 a gallon if they open the pipeline. They are the direct responsible party for that. Absolutely. That's very true. And the pipeline was able to provide way more than we needed. And it's also, not only did it stop us from saving on gas, but it also took thousands of jobs away. That's not dumbfounded look. That's her everyday look. She's so clueless. Oh, this one? This Harris? Yeah, that one? Yeah, that's her everyday look. The vaccine mandates and extended unemployment pay is a direct responsibility of Biden's administration, which is the direct cause of the delay in shipping products and lack of workers. Yeah. I'm getting ready to have 2 doctors retire. 2 hip replacement surgeries are ahead. As the Tiger King says, I'm never going to financially recover from this. I understand. I've had 3 knee replacements alone on one knee, and many, many other surgeries. And these surgeons make way too much money. I'll tell you that. They charge way too much at these hospitals. They charge you $100 for a freaking ibuprofen. I mean, it's crazy what they charge. These medical costs are out of control. I got an idea. For every criminal the DA lets off without jail or without trial, they get to serve this. What? Okay, hold on. Let me read this again. I got an idea. For every criminal the DA lets off without trial, the DA gets to serve the sentence. I like that. That's a great idea. Although, it makes a good point as to stop them from doing that, but it also could cause damage because it's still somebody else paying for what they've done or paying the price. Tens of thousands of jobs lost because of the pipeline shutdown. Yep. Government charges $200 for a hammer. Okay. But yeah, it's true. I mean, that pipeline was a major fail. Major fail, you guys. We should have kept that open. You know, we worked the oil field for a few years, Joel and I, and we saw the direct impact of what happens when you shut that kind of stuff down, and these families that's what they depend on lose their jobs. We also saw the impact of when they're doing well over there and how they flourish, and they're able to, I mean, people come in from all over the country to work those jobs, and they provide for their families all over the country. Speaking of budget, Oregon's budget was over $1 billion off the last audit. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. Brown's an idiot. She is so dumb, man. Like, this is the thing. This is what I want to finish with today. So we're talking about all these crazy things that are happening, right? A lot of this stuff can be you can pinpoint the exact cause, and it's from Democrats in office. Now, in our state, we're a completely blue state. Everything's blue. Now in our country, everything's blue. There needs to be checks and balances. There's a reason why when one party rules, it's not good. Because there's nobody there balancing it out. There's nobody there keeping them in line, keeping them accountable, making sure they're doing what's right. Now, or difference of opinions. Differences of opinions and differences of doing things is a good thing. Okay? Because if you do everything one way with no stopping, no disagreement, no nothing, you get where we are right now. So I want everybody to pay close attention. The elections are this year. Okay, these are midterm elections, right? There's a lot of things that can change in these elections. Here locally, in our town, we have 3 council members up for election. They either have to rerun or they don't run. And I've heard quite a few people that want to run up against them. I encourage everybody in our local town and in your state and in the country to do your research on each individual. If they've been in office, look at what they've done. Look at what they've accomplished. Look at what they've said. Look at how they treat the community. Look at how they treat who they're supposed to be serving. Look at how they accept criticism. Look at if they listen to the community or if they say the community doesn't need to speak. Look at what they've accomplished and what they've actually done, not just what they say or the promises they make. And then look at those that are coming in, fresh blood, basically. Look at their lifestyle, what they do, if they're honest people, what their ideals are, what their thought process is, and ask them, what is your plan? And ask the actual plan, not what you want to happen. Ask how you're going to make that happen. What are you going to do? And vote accordingly. Stop voting because you want a certain amount of women or a certain amount of a minority or a certain amount of this in office. Vote because what they do is good. What they've accomplished is good. What they stand for is good. And their plan is a good plan. Okay? This is super important. Do not let the removal of mask mandates, which is beautiful, the opening up of the country, which is wonderful, change your mind and think, oh, they're not so bad. Nope. Look at the history, guys. Look at what's going on and really, really pay attention. And yeah, it takes some work. You got to do some research, and I mean research on your own. Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to what, only the right side says or only the left side says. Do lots of research and bring it all together. The best way to know if someone's for real is by their actions and their behaviors, not just what they say or they promise. And we've got a few of those here in our town, and I won't name names, but there's a few in this town that it's very clear by their actions and behaviors what they want, even though they're saying something else. Listen to those. And you know what else? When you have a representative that stands up for what you want and is actually fighting for these same things, back them up. Show up to these meetings. Go to the school board meetings. Go to the council meetings. Go and back them up and speak your piece. They are there to represent you. We the people. Okay? They're there to represent you. Get your ass involved. Serve the community. Help your neighbors. Work together and show up and speak your mind. Okay? This is so important, especially right now. You want this to stop. You want it to get better. Everybody has to get involved. Don't say you're not civic minded. Don't say you don't want to get into politics. We cannot fucking afford it anymore. Get off your butt, do the research, and get it done. And it's possible. People can do a lot when we come together. But stop saying that you don't want to offend somebody, you don't want to lose people, you don't want to get political, that you're not civically involved. We have to be at this point. 3 years ago, I never thought Joel and I would be in politics. And now we are. And it's important. It's imperative. It's the most important thing right now besides your relationship with God is being there to save our country, save our town, save our state. Please come together, guys, and stop letting the petty shit distract you. I've got quite a few little comments I want to read. I just had to get that out. So thank you for listening to me on my little soapbox. Remember to vote conservative this next election. Time to get the Dems out and bring back a balance. I really agree with that to a sense. So there are some people out there that claim to be conservative that don't actually hold those values, which is why I say focus on not just what they say to get a vote, but also their actions and what they've accomplished. Okay? I didn't get off easy when I got in trouble. I paid my price and it was really freaking expensive. It cost $4,500 for those domestic violence classes. Wow. Well, you know what? Good for you for doing what you had to do, and I hope things are better in that aspect and that you learned a lot and that you've grown from that. You get 525,600 minutes every year. Make them count. Yep, I love that show. Or that play. Don't let the recent change fool you. Look at the historical actions of people. It's a good representation of what they will do in the future. Exactly, just like I said. Get involved, yes. We the people, let's go, Brandon. That's right. And never vote for the politician that promises free stuff, because nothing is ever free. Exactly. Nothing is ever free, people. Someone said, say it, Brandy. I love the passion. You go, girl. Brandy for president. No. I don't want that job, guys. Oh, before we go, I want to show you what I did. So this is the beginning of the sign, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it because I've got it really thin. But it says, kind heart, fierce mind, brave spirit. And I'm going to actually probably work on this tonight and try to finish it tonight. If I do, I'll send a picture on the Backwoods Brothers page so you guys can see it, because I want to get this to Amy as soon as possible. So, oh, whoops, sorry. Sorry, Amy. Didn't mean to lay it out there like that, but I'm sure she wouldn't care. She doesn't know I'm making this, so it's a surprise. So if she saw that, hopefully it didn't ruin the surprise. But yes, like I said, get involved, guys. Stop sitting back. Stop saying that you can't be political. Nobody wants, well, unless you're a career politician that wants all the money and power. Most people don't want to be political, but right now we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. Get involved. Love your neighbor. Take care of your kids. Stop the bullying. Stop being a bad example, because it's leading into our kids. Our kids are starting to take that example and go to school. The bullying is getting insane. I just talked to a mama today about it. Get involved in the school board. Go talk to the school board about that. Get involved with your community. Talk to your neighbors. Take care of each other. Talk to your representatives. Make them work for you. And I have a few more comments and then I will be done. Speaking of signs, we need a couple from last night's show. One will work if it's double-sided. Couple signs. Oh, Dana signs. So we'll send you the information. She's got all you have to do is email her to get those signs. I'm inclusive. I have all different calibers. Gun control is using 2 hands and a good aim. Yep. So, like I said, everybody, thank you for being here with me. I know I like to beat a dead horse, but these are important times, and it's really important. I don't want to hear that I'm not political anymore, because I'm not political either, but unfortunately these are the times we're in. And if you're going to have a concern and you're going to take it to a representative to do that, to fight for it, then you got to back them up, because right now, especially in our town, we've got representatives, a couple, that are fighting really hard for this town, and doing things that they've been asked, but they've got no backup, and they're outnumbered. So really watch that when the new election comes around. Pay attention to who will be able to work together for what you want. Okay? If it wasn't for politics, I wouldn't have anything to argue about, though. Hey, that's true. But let's stop arguing and let's work together, okay? Everybody have a really good night. I'm gonna end this here because my mother-in-law is in town and we want to spend some time with her. Our goddaughter's having a concert tonight that we missed. So if anybody saw that at the middle school tonight and you got pictures or video, please send them my way. I want to see. And we love you, Lena. And have a good night, everybody.